Janine Henwood from the VA Finishing School and VA Celebrity Virtual Services. And I'm coming to you live today to do the live interview with Anissa Cosby from the Virtual Sidekick. We are live with Anissa from the Virtual Sidekick, and I'm so excited to be speaking with her today. Anissa was probably one of the first virtual assistants that I connected with when I entered the world of virtual assistants. And I don't actually remember where we connected, but I think it might have been in the Virtual Savvies group, but I'm not sure. However, or it even might have been on Instagram. I follow Anissa closely and I'm loving everything that she's doing. She's a dynamic virtual assistant, a go-getter, and a real inspiration to me, and I'm sure to other virtual assistants out there. So, Anissa, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where do you work from? Because, you know, everybody works from a different place. Some people like to work from home. Others have an actual, like, you know, co-share or co-space office that they go to, or others like to just get out and work from a coffee shop. So tell us where you work from and tell us about your business. Like, what do you do? What services do you offer? Who do you serve? And how did you get started? Like, tell us your story.
Okay, so my story started a little over a year ago, and I was working full-time as an administrative assistant, working at a university in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so I was doing that for 5 years, and there were some life circumstances that occurred that we had to move out of state, and when we moved to Florida, I decided that I was determined to work from home. I was like, I'm not going to go back to work full time. At that point, I had now 3 kids. My youngest son was not even a year yet, and I was like, I'm not going back to work full time. I just can't. I was having anxiety with the thought of putting them in daycare. My youngest one's in daycare, mainly because I was still nursing my youngest, and I just didn't want to give that up. And so I stumbled upon virtual assisting. I was doing graphic design. I was doing like invitations and things like that on Etsy for a little bit, but I stumbled upon virtual assisting. I found the VA Savvies group first, and I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. Let me learn more. And because I knew with my admin experience, I thought maybe I could tie that in. And that's when my world just changed. Like, you know, I started learning more about the VA world, that it was more than just admin stuff. People could do tech and creative and organization. It was just so much more than I thought it was. And then I started subcontracting first. I started my business a year ago. So last week we celebrated a 1-year anniversary.
Yay!
And
Congratulations.
Thank you. And after we moved to Florida, things didn't really work out in Florida. So then in June of this year, we moved to North Carolina. So the great thing about the job, the nature of the job, is that I can literally just go anywhere, you know, and still keep my business going and not have to worry about being in a physical location for a job. So that was really useful. But it's funny because I started just, you know, trying to dip my hands in everything, and trying to see what I like, what I could get used to, what I don't like. And then that's when we connected because you were doing an Instagram pod. And I was like, I wanted to work on my Instagram. So I started following you. I think it's probably been almost a year. Like when I started my journey was when I had met you as well. So yeah, and we've been connected ever since. So I think that's where it started, and that's where I'm at now. It's a year later, and persisting for sure.
Yep. And so tell us what services are you offering right now, and who are your clients? do you serve a broad range of clients, or have you really niched down? Have you like upscaled your services? Like, what is happening in your business right now?
Okay. So it's kind of funny. When I first started, I just worked with anybody who came because I just wanted the money. You know, I was like, need money, I'm just gonna do whatever, and I kind of just took in whatever I had experience with. So I was doing graphic and web design. At first, I was very resistant to branding packages because I felt like everyone offered branding packages, and I just didn't know if I was unique enough. And at that time, I had that that imposter syndrome, you know, and so
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was worthy enough to offer like more high end services at first, but I primarily started doing graphic and web design packages first, and then I noticed that as I was doing that, my clients also needed some management needs. They needed someone to help them maintain their website each month, or to do graphic design tasks for like social media graphics or workbook designs or whatever. And because I have an experience working in education, like higher ed, I started doing course related websites or teachable management or course management. And so I really noticed in the beginning of this year is when I started to really start to like gather my niche and really get deeper into who I wanted to work with. And so at first I was still open to anybody who called themselves an educator. So if you had something to teach, I wanted to work with you. But then I redefined my target market about a month or so ago. I'm currently under a rebrand. So I am rebranding my business. I'm changing my logo, my colors, because I have a clear ideal client now. My brand needs to fit my new clients, which are people who want to help impact lives. So they could be a coach, but most of my clients are either coaches, therapists, or educators that help with like mental health issues or people with disability. And so they want to impact lives. They want to impact their community. They want to impact changing the scope of the social stratosphere is what I say, you know. And so those are the people that I want to work with, because while I know I'm working business to business, by helping their business, I'm helping them reach more people and impact more lives. So my brand has shifted a lot from, while they're still superheroes, you know, now I'm helping your business make an impact. And so that's been primarily my focus. So I've shifted. At one point, I kind of put myself in a box, and I was only doing like graphic and web design, but I noticed I was limiting myself. So now I offer, in addition to that, I offer online business management, which is a little bit more than what I was doing as a VA, because I'm doing strategy. I'm helping organize workflows. I'm helping to like set up their systems, because at first they had no organization at all. Everything was on a Google Drive, and they had no way of organizing it. And but the number one thing that all my clients need is tech and creative assistance, assistance. So in addition to managing their business, I'm also doing their graphic design needs, creating their workbooks, managing their courses, inputting, like they'll have a beautiful outline of their courses, but don't have the tech skills or the time to put it into Teachable or into their website. So I do all of that for them. So that's really my niche, is doing all of that tech and creative stuff for my clients.
That's amazing. And I feel like the not the newer generation, but like the 1 to 2 year virtual assistants, there's a big change in business. Like, you know, it happened with me too. I started off in one direction, and then I changed it up, and now I'm very specific in who I work with. I'm very specific in my pricing. I'm much more clear in what I'm doing. And interestingly enough, my assistance has shifted from just being a virtual assistant to some you know, in some way managing a part of their business as well, not as a whole,
Mhm.
but you know, I think it's inevitable when you start working with clients, especially on a long-term basis, you do get, you know,
Right.
involved in their day-to-day management of their business and other aspects. It's sort of like, you know, it starts here and then it just grows because they grow as clients. They become, their business grows, and their needs grow, and they're comfortable with you, so they stick with you. And I think it's a great thing that you offer, you know, also offer online business management services coupled with your um, design, graphic design, website design, etc. So, Anissa, tell us what are your goals? Like, where do you see your business going? Is this it for you? Like, are you happy now with your rebranding, with really, you know, niching down and being specific about who you want to work with? Is that what you want to stick with, or do you have bigger plans? Like, where do you see your business going?
I really see myself growing a team. I'm a strong believer of collaborative partners. I believe that we were just talking about this in the group about,
Yeah.
you know, connecting with people and having people you can refer to and then refer to back to you. But I do want to also grow a team. I want to bring on like maybe one or two subcontractors that I can give some of these tasks to, because I'm actually running out of time each month. So I'm starting ever since I made the shift in my business and I've been more clear. I'm actually starting to get leads from referrals or from even just through social media in ways that I never got before. And but now I'm at the point where I'm afraid I don't want to put people on a wait list because people don't like to wait, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
probably have to hire on some help to take care of some of their needs, because my
Mm-hmm.
clients don't only just want the creative and tech, but they also want someone that can do their social media. So I want to bring on like a social media manager to handle that piece, and then I can still focus on the creative and tech, and maybe do the project management pieces of their courses and things like that. So my goal is
Mm-hmm.
to grow a team. I'm looking to hopefully do that by the end of the year, because that's like really the only way I can scale. I'm at the point I can only take one web design project at a time because I have all of my retainer clients. So I want to be able to hopefully take on an extra web design project and then subcontract pieces of that out, and eventually just
Mm-hmm.
continue growing in that aspect. Um, and with the collaborative partner, like, so I'm really good at implementing marketing strategies. So coming up with a strategy, I can do it, but I have someone that I work with who's a digital marketer who does the strategy, and we work together.
Mm-hmm.
She does the strategy, and then I do the implementation, and I do like
Mm-hmm.
usually like the setting up the sales page and putting in the funnel and stuff like that. And she comes up with like how to do it all and what's necessary. And so we've been referring clients back and forth. We sometimes subcontract on the same project, because our services complement each other very well. So I want to get more collaborative partners like that, like maybe a copywriter, so that if I'm doing a web design project and I have a client that really just can't handle the content, I can at least have someone that I can either refer to or subcontract, copywriting, and it'll allow me to offer more when I'm like creating packages and projects. So the whole idea is to grow, and so
Mm-hmm.
um, starting with two subcontractors, but hopefully by the end of the year.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. And that's something I realized very early on in my own business. You know, because I thought as a virtual assistant, it means that I'm working myself in my own business, just me. And I was, you know, my understanding of how much I can actually work was a bit unrealistic. So I think within the first 6 months, I worked myself to death because I networked like crazy. I got a full client list and I just work, work, work. But I realized it's not sustainable. Like I cannot do this long term. So I did,
Right.
bring on, I have an online business manager and I have a virtual assistant that helps me. And I'm looking at, hiring another person. And I have a, website designer that does the coding, and I have a graphic designer, and I have a team of people that I work with because I cannot do it all on my own. And I think, as a virtual assistant, you need to realize that you do have limitations. It's not realistic to think that
Right.
you can work, um, you know, 80 hours a month. It's not realistic because you're going to get sick. If you're a mom, you have, go backwards and forwards um, with kids, and there's always something happening. It's just not possible to work that
Right.
amount of hours. So you do need to, at some stage, upscale your services, and then get help to help you manage the work and your business internally. And that's how we grow. We grow by
Right.
actually adding people into our business. That's how you grow your business. So I think it's really great that you're doing this. And it's really, I love talking to other virtual assistants, and I love hearing these stories and how they are doing things, and it's amazing. So what has been the biggest struggle for you as a virtual assistant when you just got started? Think about when you first started out. What was that biggest struggle? I know the majority of people say finding clients, but I mean, what was your real struggle?
Oh.
Or was it more than
Believe it
one?
or not, well, so it's funny. Finding clients actually wasn't my first struggle. So I'm a self learner. I like to learn as much as I can when I'm getting into something. Um, for most people who don't know, I'm a self taught graphic and web designer. I have no traditional schooling for it. And so I am the type that I do as much learning as I can. Problem is that I also overanalyze. So when I first started my business and started getting into it, I started looking for resources, and at first I didn't have the money to pay for things. So I'm the one that was looking for free resources first. And what happened is I got bombarded with so much information that I couldn't sift through what was legitimate and what was just fluff and sales. I didn't know what a sales funnel was. I didn't understand why people were giving free webinars and then selling me for 70% of the time. And I just, or why am I being told buy now when I this is supposed to be for free? I didn't understand any of that. So I was really overwhelmed. I felt like I was drowning in content, and I couldn't figure out what was necessary for me to learn and what wasn't. And then I was getting the hardest part was getting all the mix, you need a website. No, you don't need a website. As long as you have Facebook, you're fine. But no, you still need a website. But no. And so I'm sitting here so what do I need? What is the list of things that I need to do to get started? And I was just so confused. And then, once you put yourself out there, the algorithm picks up. So then I'm seeing ads for 50 million different ways to become a virtual assistant and find clients. And here's your Find Clients Now workbook that's 2 pages long with no content, and it was just all of these different things that is being thrown at you, and kind of that was, I feel, my biggest struggle, was really learning how to get started and without being constantly sold to, and really understanding those things. I feel getting clients is always, that's never ending. That's the nature of business. You're always going to be searching for that next client, that next client, that next client. Even if you have 6 retainer clients that are wonderfully paying you every month, you're still going to search for new clients because you want to scale and you want to make more money. And even if you reach short-term income goals, I've reached short-term income goals and still want to push past that because I have long-term income goals. So where I do have 4 or 5 clients right now, but it's still not getting me to my long-term income goals, which is why I have to scale. So clients is always going to be a thing, but I think my biggest struggle is always just sifting through that knowledge base. because there's a lot of resources out there, and just knowing what is the right resource to read and worth it versus, some of the other stuff that just has, like, look what I did and see if this helps you, but it doesn't really give enough on how to help. It's more about the person, and it's all like, I made 6 figures doing blah, 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 but blah, blah, blah may not work for me. So that was always, like, my issue.
Yeah, I agree. It's very easy to get that content overwhelmed because you have so much, not just in the virtual assistant world, not just created by, virtual assistants, but you also have a lot of content thrown at you by entrepreneurs and business owners and, people that claim to be earning, lots of money every month, and that's just for me it's a lot of fluff, and it's there are a lot of claims, and I think at the end of the day you need to realize early on that people are trying to sell you stuff. It's just how it is.
Right.
Business owners are going to try and sell you something, so you need to be savvy enough to try and figure it out on your own. And it's really hard when you're new, but I think it's a learning curve that all new virtual assistants go through, and then you will, once you're through that, you're stronger on the other side, and you'll be able to tell, like, what's just nonsense and what's just a sale and what's real value. And because there are people that genuinely want to help. I always say help, don't sell, because first and foremost, try and help people, and then the sale will happen on its own. You don't have to sell in order to get a sale. You have to help in order to get a sale.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So basically, yeah. So basically, content overwhelm is going to happen because we all get that shiny object syndrome. Click, 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 and we see all these magical things and what everybody's doing.
I'm still unsubscribing to all of the freebies that I subscribe to that, and honestly, if I stay subscribed to someone, it's because they're providing really good content. So, like, your social shots, I love them because it's good content and it's helpful for me. Whereas some other people, they use the email marketing to sell almost every single time they send an email. And it just becomes overwhelming. And it's like, I just wanted content. I'm not ready to buy anything. Just give me a minute, and that's where it goes, where it's supposed to be 80% content, 20% selling, and some people do it the opposite. And those are the people that I usually end up unsubscribing. I don't want to really follow their content anymore, because you're telling me to buy your stuff, but you're not telling me why. Like, you're not proving, like, social proof, why I should buy your stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And, there are a lot of really good freebies out there. I subscribe to a lot of things, every day. And it's because I want to see what's out there. And I won't just subscribe to someone's email if I don't think this person is providing value. I will subscribe to people that provide value, that I see like are really making an effort, and what they are saying makes sense and is true. But then sometimes I'm disappointed with the freebies, so I unsubscribe. And I think it's necessary, detox your inbox every now and then. It's definitely, something that we all need to do, because there's no way you can read all these emails and not suffer from content overwhelm. So, Anissa, what is your best advice for new virtual assistants? Like, what would you tell yourself had it been, a year earlier, and based on what you've learned now throughout the months of running your own business and working with clients?
Consistency is really key. When I noticed that whenever I stopped, like, or felt like I needed to give up, I needed to remind myself to stay consistent. There are going to be times that it's going to be hard. You may lose a client. You may not be making as much money as you want, but you have to persist and be consistent and still push forward even through those moments. Business is like a roller coaster. You're going up and down, there's turns, and then you have life that happens, whether you're single, you have a husband or wife, or you have children. It doesn't matter. Like, life happens. And so you have to stay consistent and know and accept that change happens. I think if you are willing to accept change, then you can follow the flow of business, because business doesn't stay stagnant. Where you, as I've already explained, where you are a year ago to where you are now, it's going to be different than where you are 5 years from now. And, you know,
Yeah.
you have to go with, I guess, be consistent, but also go with the flow, you know, and be okay if you realize, you know what, I don't know if I want to work with these clients anymore. I want to work with a different type of client. It's okay to say that. It's okay. You want to be happy. And, you know, and so I think that for me was that persistence and the consistency, because there were, I swear to you, there were times where I started looking up jobs because I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But I was reminded that I had to keep persisting. It will work out. It will work out as long as I keep pushing forward. And I kept, you know, networking, and I just kept putting myself out there as much as I could. And the nature of our business is that our results are not instant. It's not like if we sell a product and we market a product and usually you can get sales like, you know, within a couple of days. For us, we have to nurture our potential clients. So that consistency is so important, because you got to nurture them, and then they'll buy, you know, or hire you.
Yeah.
So it takes time and consistency. Don't worry if it may take you 2 weeks. For me, I mostly see my results. Everything I do in the beginning of the month, I see my results towards the end of the month. It takes me a couple of weeks before I start seeing some real results, and that's because I have to stay consistent. So that's my biggest advice. Stay consistent and don't give up. Even when you feel like you've given everything, you know, and don't be afraid to raise your prices, because I recently just raised my prices and got 2 clients on my new rate. So, which are $5 more per hour than what I was doing before. So it is possible. You just have to feel confident in yourself and in your pricing.
Exactly. And I love how you said consistency, because I and also my business manager, Natasha, we are big advocates of consistency. Consistency in everything, because that's often the reason why virtual assistants start losing hope. They start feeling despondent. They start not enjoying what they're doing, because they keep changing. You know, they keep changing between what it actually is that they want to do, their branding. There are so many changes happening that it's difficult for clients or for their audience or their followers to keep up. So imagine how they are feeling themselves. You know, it's too much. So just stay consistent. If it feels like things are not working, don't give up after just a week or just a month. Try it until there's nothing left, and then review and re-strategize, and then try your new direction. But don't just give up and completely change, because it's going to start freaking you out, and it's going to start burning you out, and you're going to start, just want to, throw it all away. And it's not necessary to feel like that. So it all starts with a plan, and then it all starts with consistency. Create your plan, be consistent, know your goals. That's another thing. When people don't have goals, there's nothing for them to work towards. When I don't have a goal, like if I, for example, if I didn't have my yearly overview, my yearly projection, to know how much I want to be making each quarter or each month, or at the end of the year, I have nothing to work towards. Then it's okay for me to just plod along, because there's no goal toward in sight, or there's no end in sight. But when you have that goal, you have more of a tenacity, you have more of a drive, and you're more persistent, not in a negative way, but in a good way, because you know what you need to do to get there, and you just go for it, and you just work hard, and you know, make connections in LinkedIn and Facebook groups, and you nurture those people, and you see you it's almost like new ways in which you can promote your business. And I say promote your business because we shouldn't be advertising and promoting, but ways that you can connect with people to draw more attention to yourself, to your business. Those avenues start
Right.
opening up for you when you have a goal and you work towards that goal. So I'm a firm believer of having a plan of action, and you know, having a strategy, and having and being consistent, and having a goal. And I think, Anissa, you're doing a wonderful job. You're a big inspiration to myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people. And I'm very happy to see, you know, you're doing so well. And I'm super glad that we could make this happen. I know there was a bit of a tech hitch, and I'm glad we sorted it out and we could speak to you. So if anyone watching has any questions for Anissa, please let us know, so so we can work through those. I know there's a few people watching. Before we sign off, just let us know if you have any questions, and otherwise, Anissa, I'll let you go because I know your day is starting, and got to get on
Yes.
those clients. So I don't think there's any questions. And guys, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the comments later and after. And if you're watching the replay, drop your comments or drop your questions in the comments, and then Anissa and myself will pick them up. We'll get back to you on that. And you know, if you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear from you. So Anissa, thank you so much for joining us, and all the best with your changes. I'm super excited to see your new branding and everything. So keep us
I'm excited
updated.
about it.
Are you doing it yourself, or have you got someone to
I
do
am
it?
doing I'm doing it myself, but I'm a part of this. I'm in a membership group that
Mm-hmm.
it's all about helping with branding, and so the
Mm-hmm.
person that's in charge of it does like audits. So she did an audit of my website and of my brand, and that's when I realized that I really needed to rebrand. So she's like helping me go through the pieces. I'm doing the actual design work myself, but she's helping me piece everything
Okay.
together.
Oh,
So,
that's lovely.
she's helping with the color psychology. So I have someone guiding me on
Mm-hmm.
that piece. I mean, I do branding for other people, but when it comes to myself, it's always a little bit harder um, because I'm
It
so
is.
close to it. So, but I do have someone kind of helping me piece it all together. So it's going really well.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And thank you again for coming on live and chatting with me. And all the best. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you back in the group.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.